Love his work or loathe it, columnist and commentator Andrew Bolt is providing the catalyst for an important freedom of speech legal test case. He's being sued under the Racial Discrimination Act over articles he wrote about so-called white Aborigines. The architect of those laws, the former Attorney-General Michael Lavarch, is defending them as a necessary restriction on free speech, and Andrew Bolt himself talks exclusively in this story to Mary Gearan.
Do you have anything that you can say about your thinking when you were talking about white Aborigines?
There is a lot I could say, but I can't say it now.
Andrew Bolt is not known for holding back, but ironically enough, that's what he has to do as he awaits judgment in this landmark case that deals with free speech.
This is not about Andrew Bolt. This is about a law which provides a right not to be offended against a right to free speech.
I think freedom of speech involves offending people. Legal principle.
In a rare show of unanimity, both the left and right sides of the commentariat have united behind Andrew Bolt, saying freedom of speech is at stake. But the man who drafted the laws in question says that's wrong.
No one is arguing, surely, that free speech isn't absolutely fundamental in a country such as Australia. It obviously is. But by the same token, free speech is not absolute.
This is what it's all about. 9 high-profile Aborigines, including veteran activist Pat Eatock, artist Bindi Cole, Professor Larissa Behrendt and former ATSIC director Jeff Clark, are suing Andrew Bolt under provisions of the Racial Discrimination Act. They have also been advised not to speak to the media before judgment. Their case concerns 4 articles written by Andrew Bolt, published by the Herald and Weekly Times.
Meet the white face of a new black race, the political Aborigine.
Andrew Bolt listed a number of people who have, he said, chosen to identify themselves as Aboriginal when their lighter skin colour, indicating a mixed heritage, meant they had other choices open to them.
I certainly don't accuse them of opportunism, even if full-blood Aborigines may wonder how such fair people can claim to be one of them and take black jobs.
The case created headlines of its own when counsel for the applicant said Andrew Bolt had a eugenic approach to Aboriginality and that his kind of thinking led to the Nuremberg race laws.
I found it extremely distressing, the whole case, particularly being linked to the Holocaust. All my life I've really been against racism, and again I've just been asking for us to treat each other and judge each other as individuals.
So others would say, why are you highlighting race if that was your purpose?
All I've said all my life is that we should look beyond race.
Personally, I think what Bolt wrote was offensive and wrong-headed, and I don't agree with it. But if you go into any pub, if you raise the subject in any country RSL, you will hear similar views expressed. I think we repress debate of those sorts of views at our peril.
Andrew Bolt needs to have convinced the judge that his comments were reasonable and in good faith. But counsel for the 9 has said much of what Mr Bolt wrote was not only humiliating and intimidating, but also misleading and incomplete, ignoring the cultural element of identity.
What this legislation does do is effectively fill a gap.
Professor Michael Lavarch was Attorney-General in 1995 when the racial hatred provisions were introduced. There was plenty of debate back then too.
Once they're on the statutes, we will start putting people in jail for talking.
In the end, criminal sanctions for incitement to racial violence didn't get through Parliament, but the current lesser civil wrong did. Professor Lavarch is now also the partner of one of the applicants, Harvard graduate Professor Behrendt. Andrew Bolt described her this way.
Larissa Behrendt has also worked as a professional Aborigine, despite looking almost as German as her father. Which people are yours exactly, mein Liebchen?
In fact, Professor Behrendt's father is Aboriginal, born of an Englishman. In subsequent editions, the article said she looked as German as her name.
I think I'll leave my personal views on this occasion to myself.
But Professor Lavarch does say the laws are necessary to protect against the great harm that words can do.
On the whole, the laws are pitched pretty well in the centre of ensuring that we do have free speech, because that is fundamental, but at the same time that individuals and groups in our society are not vilified or attacked or humiliated simply on the basis of the colour of their skin or their racial identity.
What do you think should be the outcome regarding these laws in any case?
Well, look, once the judge has made his decision, I hope we can have a good debate on that.
Much of the commentary on this case has been about whether or not the law asserts a right to not be offended. The law prohibits acts that are reasonably likely to offend, insult, humiliate or intimidate someone on the basis of race. But some believe that to make offending a civil wrong is to set the bar far too low for legal action.
Anybody who's involved in journalism or blogging or social media are all likely to offend people at various times.
I don't see Alan Jones being shut down or Andrew Bolt losing his column, or people being able to exchange views in terms of blogs and Twitter and Facebook and the like.
The decision on the Bolt case is expected to take some weeks, but no one expects the debate to stop there. Is there anything else you'd like to say?
Yes.
Mary Guerin with that report.